Would you have forgiven Ryan? I'll let him rot in guilt. Comment below. The first thing Amelia Carter notices is a mirror, the one that stretches the length of the marble wall and turns a luxury boutique into a hall of reflections. It cuts her into fragments, no scrubs under a charcoal coat, tired eyes above a neat blue surgical mask tugged under her chin, hair pulled into a no-nonsense bun. She shouldn't be here. Wednesday is usually post-op rounds, not window shopping. But when the hospital gifted her a prepaid card for heroic service, Claire had begged her to splurge on herself. Just go, Claire had insisted. Buy something you never let yourself want. Thank you for joining. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification. Subscribe and turn on notifications. So Amelia drifts, almost floating, between glass cases of jewelry under soft white lights that hum like a quiet apology. She reaches a wrist toward a tray of bracelets. We'll take them out for you, a clerk murmurs, and Amelia flushes, pulling back. Of course, this is the sort of place where things are never touched without permission. A cough ricochets across the showroom. It's sharp, brittle, too familiar. An elderly woman, small as a memory, braces herself against a velvet stool, blue veins lacing her hand. No one moves. Then Amelia is there, instincts outrunning embarrassment. She slips a hand to the woman's back, guiding her to a bench, soothing her through measured breaths. In through the nose. Slow. That's it. And out. She fishes a clean handkerchief from her coat pocket, offers water. The woman's eyes brim with gratitude. Bless you, she whispers. Eleanor, she adds, voice of thread. By the time the sales staff remembers their manners and offer a bottle of still water that costs more than a sandwich, Eleanor's breathing steadies. Amelia gives a small smile, shy, then rises. She's about to leave, dizzy with the awkwardness of touching a stranger in a cathedral of untouchables, when a voice slices a polite murmur like a razor. You. It's a man, tall and immaculately arranged, a dark suit that looks unsubtle in its perfection. Ryan Blake. His photo lives on the boutique's website, the Prince of Blake in Beaumont, third generation A, chin tilted upward by habit. He is the kind of handsome that's always been told it is handsome. He is already frowning at Amelia as if her very presence scuffs the floors. You've been lingering near the bracelets for 20 minutes. He turns to a clerk. Check the inventory. Amelia blinks. I helped a customer who was unwell. Of course you did. He tilts his head toward her coat. Would you empty your pockets? Something inside Amelia recoils. Her body remembers every lecture about boundaries and consent. Every time a patient's family demanded to see her hands, as if competence leaves fingerprints. I'm not. Ryan's smile is thin. You're welcome to refuse. Security has already called the police. A scene forms like frost. Customers pausing, clerks watching, the mirror showing a nose shrinking. Her heart rabbit thumps. She reaches carefully into her coat, removing the handkerchief, lip balm, prepaid card, and phone. That's all. Her voice tries to be steady and breaks. Other pocket, Ryan says. It's absurd. She pats it, empty, and feels something stiff and metallic against her knuckles. Cold blooms in her chest. She looks up, confused, then slides out an object that catches a light and detonates 1,000 tiny suns. A bracelet. Not just any. An unmistakable Blake signature piece. Tiny diamonds kissing the curve like frost on a crescent moon. For a beat. There's only the boutique's heartbeat. Timid piano, air conditioning whispering polite judgment. I don't know how. Her voice is too small. Ryan doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Ms. Carter, is it? We host a fundraiser at Metropolitan General every year. I recognize the uniform. Imagine my disappointment. I didn't take this. The world tilts. I didn't. Security appears, soft shoes, hard faces. A clerk murmurs about policy. Someone looks away, embarrassed for her. Someone else is recording, phone held like a weapon. So, one guard says, NYPD is on the way. Amelia's cheeks flame. She turns toward Eleanor, desperate for a witness, but a sales associate is wheeling her toward a private lounge. Eleanor tries to twist, to speak, but the door hushes shut like a secret being sealed. This is a misunderstanding, Amelia says, hearing the tremor. Check your cameras. Down since morning, a clerk says apologetically, shooting Ryan a glance she hopes he won't see. He does. Ryan clasped his hands. We'll cooperate fully with the authorities. And then the store doors bloom open to blue and brass and polite, weary procedure. A hand rests on Amelia's arm. We'll have to ask you to come with us. Her body moves before her mind can catch up. As she passes the mirror, Amelia sees herself one last time. Not the nurse who sits with frightened families at 3 a.m., not the woman who stayed awake through 3 shifts during a snowstorm, not the daughter who sent half a paycheck to mother in a quiet suburb. Just a woman with a bracelet in her pocket, cheeks wet, stepping into the reflected cage of bright lights and prettier lies. Hook. The camera follows Amelia into the night as a boutique's glass door whispers close. On the other side, Ryan turns to a clerk and smirks, "Make sure the footage stays down." The station smells like burnt coffee and tired hope. Fluorescent lights flatten everything, reducing faces to shapes and resolve to paperwork. The desk sergeant has a voice like gravel and a sympathy that has learned to keep its coat on. Amelia sits on a plastic chair that flexes with complaint every time she shifts. Her fingers, those skilled, precise instruments, keep finding each other and braiding into knots. Name, an officer asks, not unkindly. Amelia Carter. Occupation. Nurse. Metropolitan General. Pen scratch. A printer coughs. Across the room, someone argues about a traffic citation with the zeal of a man building a nation from sand. They take the bracelet and bag it. It's small weight heavier in clear plastic. It looks obscene there, like a fish in a shallow bowl. Evidence. The word sits heavy, uglier than it sounds. "Ms. Carter, do you understand the charge?" the officer asks. She swallows. Alleged shoplifting of merchandise valued over. The number makes a mouth feel numb. One bracelet could fund months of groceries. One bracelet could fix the ancient dishwasher that screams like a siren every time it runs. "I didn't take it," she says. "I helped an elderly woman. I don't know how it got into my pocket." The officer, Perez, his badge says, studies her. "You've got no priors, not even a parking ticket." "I bike to work," she says, because she doesn't know where else to go with her mouth. Officer Perez's lips twitch, a flash of reluctant humanity. They photograph her. The flash makes her flinch. It's not a mugshot. It's a theft of dignity, the camera pulling her inside out. She hears her mother's voice on a loop. "When people try to make you small, stand taller." She tries. Her spine refuses to be a question mark. They let her call someone. She calls Claire. Claire answers on the second ring, breathless. "Did you buy the shoes? Wait, why do you sound like Amelia?" Words tumble like broken glass. Claire's already moving. Amelia can hear her keys, the scrape of chair legs, the city folding to let her pass. "Do not say anything else," Claire orders. "I'm coming, and I'm bringing a lawyer. I don't know one yet, but I will by the time I get there." An hour later, Claire barrels into the station like an emergency in a bright red coat. She has an energy that startles rooms into rearranging themselves. With her is a public defender she convinced to meet them as a favor to a friend of a friend. His name is Lowe. His suit is older than the station's coffee pot, and his eyes are very sharp. They sit at a metal table, and Lowe listens without interrupting. He asks precise questions. "Did anyone touch you? Did anyone brush your coat? Where was the bracelet found? Who blocked the cameras?" When she says Ryan Blake, Lowe whistles low. "The Blakes? That's complicated." "Complicated," repeats Claire, bitter, as in rich. As in, Lowe says carefully, they are friends in places where decisions get made. But complicated doesn't mean unbeatable. Officer Perez returns with a paper for Amelia to sign, a formal statement, process charges, a court date. "We're releasing you on your own recognizance," he says. "Don't leave the city." Claire squeezes Amelia's hand. "She won't. She works here. She saves people here." As they step out into cold air that smells like last night's rain and food trucks beginning to dream of noon, Amelia's phone vibrates like a trapped bee. Notifications. A blog that feeds on scandal has somehow already crafted a headline. "Nurse Nick's necklace? Charity hero caught lifting luxury." Comments multiply. Some defend her. Most don't. The internet has a hunger that humility can't fill. Her hospital calls within the hour. A voice wrapped in corporate cotton says a board is convening for an urgent review of conduct. It's not a verdict, but it's gravity pulling her down. On the subway home, faces slide past like unread books. A teenager's gaze lingers on her coat. Does he recognize her from the blog photo? She turns away, watches her reflection jump with the tunnel lights. I didn't do it. She mouths to the glass, and the woman in the window mouths it back, earnest and a little afraid. Claire leans across the aisle and taps a note into her phone with surgical fury. I'm making a list. Cameras, staff names, timestamps, security companies. The old woman, what was her name? Eleanor. Amelia whispers. She said Eleanor. Good. I'll find her. Clay's certainty is a raft. Amelia climbs aboard and breathes. At home, the news cycle yawns and stretches and decides to adopt the story like a stray. Amelia's landlord, who has never called her except to ask about rent, leaves a stiff voicemail reminding her that any unlawful conduct may violate the lease's morality clause. She laughs, a sound that surprises her, too bright and brittle. They gave morality a clause, she says. Of course they did. Claire orders noodles. Low text addresses and a reminder not to talk to any reporters. Officer Perez emails a copy of the intake report. No commentary, just facts, and fact our kindness right now. At 2 a.m., when the city is a little quieter and the radiator hisses like a cat, Amelia dreams she is in an operating room where the lights are jewelry, and every time she reaches for a scalpel, a bracelet slips into her pocket. In the dream, alarms go off, and when she wakes, her heart is a small, fast bird in a cage. Hook. In the blue half-dawn, Amelia opens her eyes to a new text. Met Gen Board. Emergency hospitals are built to hold human error. That's what protocols are, a soft place of mistakes to land before they harden into harm. But reputations? Those live in hallways and whispers and the space between two people's eyes when they pass each other at 6 a.m. As Amelia walks into Metropolitan General, scrub top under her coat like a secret she might be asked to prove, the lobby seems to pause. A security guard who always jokes about Knicks versus Nets suddenly studies his shoes. Two nurses in pediatrics whisper, and one's face does something complicated between sympathy and suspicion. People love a story because it tells them what to think about a stranger. Claire insisted on coming, but the board requested only the employee. Don't be alone in there, Claire had said, voice low in the lift. Be a chorus. Bring all of us with you. Now Amelia steps into a conference room where sunlight falls on polished wood and the coffee is dignified enough to have a last name. The board chair, Ms. Redding, smiles with the strained warmth of a woman balancing a lawsuit in the back of her mind. There are 7 others, each prefaced by initials MD, JD, CFO, and one guest, his hair silver and his eyes tied in a way that expensive sleep can't fix, Dr. Daniel Hughes, the cardiac surgeon whose signature is a halo for grant proposals. He nods when he catches a gaze, the gesture tiny and steadying. Ms. Carter, Redding begins. Thank you for coming. This is not a determination of guilt. We need clarity. They ask for her version. She gives it, simple, clean. She does not add adjectives. She does not cry. When she says the cameras were down, Daniel's mouth tightens. When she says, I helped a woman named Eleanor, someone notes it. The room is a machine for collecting sentences and turning them into policy. Until the legal matter concludes, Redding says, every syllable wrapped in administrative neutral, we must place you on temporary suspension. This protects our patients and the institution. The donors, Daniel says mildly, not looking up from his notes. The word lands like a small grenade, rolls, and doesn't explode. Redding ignores it, but the others shift in their chairs. We expect discretion, Redding continues. No media engagement. May I speak with my patients' families? Amelia asks. Some of them will hear and be afraid. You can say you're on leave, Redding says. Assure them continuity of care. The language is so smooth it slides off the truth. When the meeting adjourns, chairs scrape like tired feet. A few members make a point of touching Amelia's arm and saying they're so sorry about all this. One avoids her, his phone urgent. Daniel lingers until the room thins. Ms. Carter, he says, and his voice belongs in rooms where hearts are coaxed back to duty. Daniel, please. Daniel, she repeats, surprise into gentleness. I watched you through the pandemic, he says. You didn't break. Not once. I don't think you started now. He looks toward the glass where the city climbs the sky with money and ambition. The Blakes donate a wing every few years. They're noisy benefactors. Do you believe me? The question escapes before pride can muzzle it. I believe what I've seen of your character, he says. And I believe men born on third base sometimes mistake the bases for destiny. If you're innocent, there will be a way through. He slides her a card, not his own, but a contact. Private investigator. Smart, quiet. If you can't afford him, I can. She considers refusing. She was raised on the usefulness of self-sufficiency, on carrying one's own weight like a badge. But the world has shifted under her feet this week, and pride is a poor flotation device. Thank you, she says, meaning it. In the hallway, a mother presses a call button as if pressing it harder might conjure the nurse she trusts. A new nurse responds, brisk and kind, but the mother's eyes flicker past, searching for Amelia. The flicker stings. Hearing. Today. The gossip machine works faster than blood. By afternoon, Amelia's suspension is stated without being stated. A city blog supplements their original story with a blurry still from a phone video, Amelia being led through the boutique, head high. The caption editorializes for clicks. Beneath it, comments multiply like algae blooms. If you're poor, don't shop there. Hospitals don't pay enough. Who can blame her? Innocent until proven guilty. Guys, please. She had it in her pocket. At home, her mother calls and tries not to cry. I told Mrs. Vargas at church you didn't do it, and she said of course you didn't. People who know you know you. Thanks, Mom. The words are small boat she sends across an ocean of worry. Claire arrives bearing groceries and incredulity. They suspended you? After last winter when you practically moved into the ICU. She sets down bread with the finality of a judge's gavel. Okay, we fight louder. They start listing and pinning and mapping on Claire's corkboard like it's a crime drama, and they're the underfunded heroes. Boutique floor plan. Staff names gleaned from LinkedIn, Ryan's public appearances, past lawsuits. They draw a circle around cameras down and another around Eleanor. Between them, a red string waits for a line they haven't found. Night brings silence except for a siren somewhere far and the radiator making old house complaints. Amelia scrolls until her thumb aches and throws the phone onto the couch like a snake. She opens a box from under her bed, the one with childhood ribbons and letters and the Polaroid where she is 5, wearing a stethoscope toy, grinning like she invented the idea of helping. She wonders what that little girl would say to this version of herself. Keep going, probably. You're the same person, even when they say you aren't. Her email dings. The subject line is a gut punch. Metropolitan General, patient family concern. She opens it. Polite words asking for confirmation that the rumors are untrue, that their father's nurse could still be trusted. She writes back with careful, honest sentences sanctioned by policy. She cries afterward, not because she is weak, but because she is human and someone pulled the pin on her day. When sleep finally finds her, it's full of doors that won't stay closed. Hook. Claire shakes Amelia awake at dawn, eyes bright. I found something, an admission record. An Eleanor Brooks was taken to St. Albans the afternoon of the incident. It turns out hospitals speak to each other in an argot of numbers and codes, and if you know where to look, and Claire does, information peeks out like a shy neighbor. St. Albans is 6 stops on the D train and a 5-block walk that smells like bakery and bus exhaust. The lobby is beige with cheerful posters about flu shots. The receptionist has a nameplate that reads Marcia and a smile that does not budge in the face of urgency. We're looking for a patient, Claire says. Eleanor Brooks. Admitted 3 days ago. Possible copt exacerbation. I'm not authorized, Marcia begins. Amelia slides her hospital ID across the counter, not as a flex but as a credential that still feels like a part of her skin. I'm a nurse that met General Ms. Brooks, maybe a witness in a criminal matter where I've been falsely accused. I helped her at a store just before she was brought here. If we could just confirm she's here and ask if she'd like to see me. Marcia studies Amelia's face the way nurses do, to see whether the truth lives there. Then she makes a phone call that becomes a chain of whispered 1-minute favors. Room 417, she says at last. Don't tell anyone I told you. And don't take too long. Physio in 20. Eleanor Brooks is smaller in a hospital bed than she was on a velvet stool. Oxygen cannula in place. Gown patterned with small blue diamonds. Hands quiet over the blanket. Her eyes brighten when Amelia enters, the way a window brightens when a cloud moves. Eleanor says, voice papery but sure. You gave me water. And you gave me your name. Amelia says, smiling, I'm sorry to barge in like this. Eleanor shakes her head an inch. Nonsense. I was sorry they took you away like a criminal. I tried to tell the man in the suit, loud hair, nasty smile, that you were no thief. He shushed me like a child. She looks offended on her own behalf, which makes Amelia want to both laugh and cry. Claire pulls a chair close. Ms. Brooks, would you be willing to say what you saw? On paper? Or to the police? We think you're the key. Eleanor considers. I can say what I saw. I saw you help me. I saw you keep your hands to yourself in that case. The town car idles at the curb like a shark waiting for movement. Amelia freezes, Claire's arm instinctively pulling her back. The driver's smile is professional but unreadable. Mr. Blake would like a word. No. Claire snaps before Amelia can answer. Tell Mr. Blake to send his lawyer. She drags Amelia toward the subway. The car doesn't follow, but the chill remains. Later, in the quiet of Daniel Hughes' office, Amelia recounts the incident. The cardiac surgeon listens, steepling his fingers. His reputation isn't just medical, it's moral. The Blakes are used to intimidation, he says, eyes steady. But fear is a poor foundation for truth. He leans in. You're not the first. Ryan's framed people before. Store employees, rivals. But no one had the courage or resources to fight back. He slides her a flash drive. Whistleblowers approached me. Testimonies, half suppressed. It's not conclusive, but it's a pattern. Amelia's chest tightens. Why help me? Why now? Daniel smiles faintly. Because medicine teaches us to fix what's broken. And this system of power and lies is very broken. Besides, the truth needs allies. Hook, Daniel warns, if you push forward, Ryan won't just fight dirty. He'll fight to ruin you completely. With Daniel's warning echoing, Amelia and Claire meet Nadia Quinn, the investigator, again. Her office wall is now lined with sticky notes. Cameras OFF, override, Ryan. We need corroboration, Nadia says. Ryan's word against yours isn't enough. But every lie leaves footprints. They retrace Amelia's steps. Nadia's questions are surgical. Where was Eleanor standing? How far was Amelia from the jewelry case? Which clerk gave her water? Amelia remembers. Eleanor's coughing fit drew all eyes. She knelt, supporting her, handkerchief pressed into her palm. My left side was toward Ryan. Amelia recalls slowly. That pocket, the one he insisted I check, that's where the bracelet was. So he had opportunity, Nadia concludes. But let's find witnesses. Claire scours social media hashtags from that day. She unearths a blurry TikTok, a customer filming herself in the boutique mirror. In the corner, Amelia kneels beside Eleanor, and behind them, Ryan hovers unnervingly close. The video is grainy, but it's something. Nadia sends it to an enhancement lab. Hook. Claire gasps as she freezes a TikTok frame. Look. His hand. It's near your coat. Amelia can't shake the memory of Eleanor's frailty. Determined, she returns to St. Albans with Nadia. Eleanor is propped on pillows, eyes sharper today. I was afraid you wouldn't come back, she whispers. We need your help, Amelia says softly. Would you be willing to sign a sworn statement? To testify? Eleanor chuckles, a rasping sound. I've lived 80 years. If the truth can't leave my lips now, what was the point? She signs, shaky but resolute. Hospital record confirm her admission time, 2:22 p.m., barely minutes after boutique incident. Ambulance logs corroborate. Your timeline's airtight. Nadia says, satisfaction glinting. Ryan framed you, but the hospital clock is your alibi. Yet the victory feels fragile. Hours later, a boutique press release declares, recovered CCTV confirms a theft. Nadia's jaw tightens. Is moving faster than us. We'll need the raw files before they dock to them. Hook. That night, Amelia's landlord delivers an eviction notice, muttering apologies, orders from above. She realizes Ryan is dismantling her life piece by piece. Ryan doesn't wait for court. He launches a smear campaign. Tabloid scream, angel nurse or diamond thief. Blogs publish anonymous tips about Amelia's supposed debts. A doctored bank statement circulates online showing overdraft she never had. At MetGen, colleagues avoid eye contact. Patients' families request reassignment. The whispers eat away at her. Then Claire bursts into her apartment, laptop in hand. He's scared, she says. Smear campaigns mean he's scrambling. But look, his lawyer filed a motion to suppress Eleanor's testimony, claiming she's mentally unfit. Fury boils in Amelia. She's sharper than half the people in that store. Meanwhile, Nadia meets a former Sabletech technician who admits the boutique's cameras weren't down. They were toggled into maintenance mode manually. Only 3 people had override access. Ryan was one. Hook. The tech hands over an email proving Ryan ordered the override. But be careful, he warns. People who cross him don't stay comfortable for long. The courthouse smells of polished wooden nerves. Reporters swarm, flashes popping like fireworks. Amelia walks in, flanked by Claire and Nadia, head high despite her shaking hands. Ryan arrives moments later, tailored confidence radiating. His entourage, lawyers in sleek suits, sweeps around him like armor. He smirks when he sees Amelia, mouthing, "You'll lose." Inside, Judge Carver presides with a granite face. The prosecutor outlines Ryan's claim. Amelia stole the bracelet. Evidence, possession of the item. Witness, Ryan Blake. Motive, financial desperation. Amelia's lawyer counters with Eleanor's testimony and the hospital timeline. My client was with a patient, not a bracelet. The judge leans forward. We will need hospital records, ambulance logs, and video evidence. Ms. Brooks's competence will be assessed. Until then, this court remains open to both narratives. Ryan's smirk deepens. Amelia's stomach twists. But then Eleanor enters, frail yet radiant in determination. The courtroom hushes. She lifts a trembling hand and points directly at Amelia. That young woman saved my breath. She never touched that jewelry. Hook. The judge nods, intrigued, and orders. We'll subpoena the boutique CCTV files. And we'll examine hospital records next session. Ryan's master control flickers, for the first time. The courtroom air is thick, buzzing with suppressed tension. Ryan sits poised in his expensive suit, fingers steepled like a man already victorious. Amelia, by contrast, is plain, almost fragile, yet her stillness radiates quiet fire. Judge Carver leans toward the clock. Bring the hospital records. Screens flicker to life. Metropolitan General's time logs appear. 2 p.m. Amelia Carter signed into surgical prep. 2:10 p.m. Assisting Dr. Hughes in post-op recovery. 2:20 p.m. Scheduled to clock out for leave. The defense rises, voice booming. Your Honor, these timestamps prove my client was in the hospital, not stealing from a boutique across town. Ryan's attorney pounces. Digital records can be altered. The Blake's boutique has evidence placing her at the scene. But Judge Carver isn't convinced. He adjusts his glasses. Then the question becomes, which system of record is more trustworthy? A hospital's digital clocking mechanism, or a boutique owned by the complainant's family? The jury shifts. Some eyes soften toward Amelia. Ryan's smirk wavers. He whispers fiercely to his lawyer. Amelia notices his hands tightening into fists. Hook! The judge slams his gavel. Next session, hospital staff witnesses. We will see who speaks truth. The next hearing brings whispers rippling through the gallery. Mrs. Eleanor Brooks enters, leaning on a cane but with eyes blazing. Ryan's lawyer had tried to have her dismissed as mentally unfit. Yet here she is, sharp, deliberate, proud. She raises her hand, swears her oath, and locks her gaze on Amelia. That girl saved my life. She was kneeling beside me when the commotion started. She never touched the bracelet. I saw a man behind her, close enough to slip something into her pocket. She narrows her eyes toward Ryan. That man! The courtroom gasps. Reporter's pen scratched like lightning. Ryan leaps to his feet. Objection! His voice cracks for the first time. This woman is delusional. Sit down, Mr. Blake. Judge Carver cuts him coldly. Eleanor grips the railing, voice steady despite her frailty. When the truth saves you, you don't forget the face of the one who carried it. Amelia Carter is no thief. Even the jury seems moved. Amelia's throat tightens with gratitude, tears threatening. Hook, as Eleanor leaves the stand, Ryan's lawyer slips him a note. He unfolds it and goes pale. Nadia, watching from the gallery, notices and mouths to Claire, he's planning something. Ryan's desperation bleeds into strategy. The next day, tabloids explode with new evidence. Forged bank receipts suggesting Amelia has crippling debts. Anonymous blogs accuse her of gambling, online shopping binges, even stealing medical supplies. Claire storms into Amelia's apartment, brandishing a tablet. He's pulling out every dainty trick. Look, he wants to destroy your reputation before the jury even votes. Amelia's lawyer, Lowe, counters swiftly. He files motions proving the bank statements are doctored, watermarks inconsistent, fonts mismatched. The forgery is exposed in open court. Judge Carver's patience snaps. Mr. Blake, this is not a circus. If you continue presenting falsified evidence, you will face perjury charges. Ryan's mask cracks. He slams a fist on the table, muttering, She's not going to win. I won't let her. The gallery whispers. His arrogance is no longer hidden. Hook, Nadia slips Amelia a USB drive. We cracked the boutique's hard drive. Wait until you see this. The courtroom darkens as Nadia's evidence is displayed. A grainy video fills the screen, pulled from a deleted camera angle Ryan thought erased forever. The footage shows Amelia kneeling beside Eleanor. Ryan hovers behind, face cool, movements calculated. Slowly, deliberately, he leans forward, sliding something into Amelia's coat pocket. The bracelet. Gasps echo. Reporters nearly leap from their seats. Jurors exchange shocked looks. Even Judge Carver's stern face cracks in disbelief. Play it again, he orders. The clip loops, undeniable. Ryan's hand, the bracelet, Amelia unaware. This, Lowe declares, is not theft. This is entrapment. Mr. Blake orchestrated a false accusation to ruin a woman's life. Ryan shouts, It's fake, edited. But the tech specialist Nadia hired swears under oath. Metadata proves authenticity. Ryan's empire begins to crumble in real time. Hook, Judge Carver leans forward, eyes piercing. Mr. Blake, explain yourself or prepare for perjury charges. Ryan's face drains a color. The jury files out, deliberating for barely an hour before returning. The four-person stands, voice steady. We find the defendant, Amelia Carter, not guilty. Amelia's knees nearly give way. Claire grips her, tears streaming. Nadia pumps a quiet fist. Daniel Hughes, seated in the gallery, smiles in quiet vindication. But the jury isn't done, and we recommend charges of defamation, evidence tampering, and obstruction against Ryan Blake. The courtroom explodes. Reporters rush out, phones lighting up with breaking headlines. Ryan slams his chair back, shouting, You'll regret this. You all will. Two bailiffs step forward as Judge Carver bangs his gavel. Enough. Mr. Blake, you are under arrest. Amelia collapses into Claire's arms, sobbing, not in despair, but in relief. After weeks of humiliation, the truth has finally burned through every lie. Hook, as Ryan is dragged out in cuffs, he turns back and snarls, This isn't over, Carter. The courtroom empties, but the story doesn't end with a verdict. Outside, cameras flash like lightning, microphones shove into Amelia's face. How does it feel to be cleared? Do you have a message for Mr. Blake? Amelia shields her eyes, overwhelmed. Claire pulls her through the crowd, muttering, Vultures. Nadia stays behind to feed one or two reporters with carefully crafted lines. Control the narrative. Spin the truth before Ryan's PR machine wakes up. Back at the hospital, a board statement appears online. Metropolitan General is pleased Ms. Carter has been cleared of all allegations. We deeply regret the distress she experienced. The public eats it up. Former patients flood social media with hashtags, #Justice for Amelia. Amelia's phone dings nonstop. Apologies from colleagues who doubted her, messages of support from strangers. She wants to be grateful, but her chest feels hollow. Ryan's family, meanwhile, scrambles. Stock in Blake and Beaumont plummets as headlines scream, Blake Air jailed for fraud. Investors flee. His father issues a carefully worded statement. We are shocked and saddened by Ryan's actions, which do not represent our company's values. Translation: we disown him. Hook: a letter arrives in Amelia's mailbox, stamped with prison mail. The sender: Ryan Blake. Amelia stares at the letter for days before opening it. Inside, Ryan's handwriting sprawls across lined paper. I never meant for it to go this far. I only wanted to scare you. You destroyed me, but I can't stop thinking about what you said in court. That truth matters. Do you believe someone like me deserves redemption? She crumples it, then smooths it again, conflicted. Meanwhile, her story snowballs into a national headline. A producer from a morning talk show calls. We'd love to have you on to share your journey. Claire shouts, say yes. Daniel simply nods. On TV, Amelia sits under hot studio lights, telling millions, I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was fighting for every worker silenced by power, every nurse doubted, every person accused without proof. The audience erupts in applause. Clips go viral. Hashtags trend. Hospitals across the country send messages of solidarity. Advocacy groups reach out. Amelia, once shamed, is suddenly a symbol. Hook: an email pings after the show. Invitation: National Medical Ethics Conference. Keynote speaker: Amelia Carter. In prison, Ryan Blake is no longer heir, no longer untouchable. His designer suits traded for orange, his arrogance melted into bitterness. He eats bland food under fluorescent lights, his name spat like a curse among other inmates. Reporters describe his downfall with glee, from penthouse to prison cell. Old acquaintances rush to distance themselves. His father refuses to visit. His so-called friends block his number. But Ryan keeps writing letters. More apologies. More confessions. I was raised to believe money could erase anything. But when you forgave me with your eyes in that courtroom, I saw what power really looks like. Not wealth. Not fear. Truth. Amelia doesn't reply. She reads, folds, and locks him away. Her forgiveness, she knows, can't undo his consequences. Hook. One day, a guard delivers Ryan a newspaper clipping. Amelia smiling at a conference, hailed as a hero of integrity. For the first time, he weeps. Amelia debates visiting Ryan. Claire thinks it's madness. He doesn't deserve your time. Daniel, more measured, says sometimes forgiveness is less about them and more about you. So she goes. The prison visiting room smells of disinfectant and regret. Ryan shuffles in, thinner, eyes hollow. When he sees her, he stiffens, then softens, like a man who's rehearsed apologies in the mirror. I ruined your life, he whispers, and you still stand taller than me. How? Amelia takes a breath. Because I never needed to steal anything to know my worth. You framed me because you thought power could replace character. You were wrong. Tears streak his face. Can you forgive me? She studies him for a long moment. I forgive you, for my own peace, but I will never forget. Ryan bows his head, shattered. For once, no arrogance, no excuses. Just a man broken by his own choices. Hook. Amelia walks out into the sunlight, leaving Ryan behind. A reporter catches her. Do you regret forgiving him? She smiles faintly. No, because forgiveness isn't about freeing him. It's about freeing me. Months later, Amelia stands on a stage at the National Medical Ethics Conference. Cameras flash, applause roars, but her voice is calm and clear. I was called a thief, but records, truth, proved otherwise. I survived because people believed in me when the world didn't. My mission now is to fight for those who don't have that chance. She announces the launch of the Carter Foundation for Justice in Healthcare, funding legal defense for wrongly accused professionals. Donations pour in live as the conference streams. Claire beams in the front row. Daniel claps, pride unspoken but deep. Even Eleanor, frail yet smiling, watches from a wheelchair, mouthing, "You did it." As Amelia leaves the stage, she passes a mirror in the hallway. Months ago, that reflection showed her broken and accused. Now it shows her whole, radiant, vindicated.